Hello YouTube, this is T-Fury28, and
You can say it.
I forgot it.
Pre-Zexal.
And him, and we're bringing you our second.
Hey, you revealed to YouTube I'm a guy.
If they couldn't tell by your voice, then there's something wrong. Well, you have dressed as a girl, so
Okay, now you're going too far.
We're bringing you our second deck profile. This one's one of my decks. I call it Heroic Justice. Mostly because one of the cards in the deck name starts with Justice.
I call it...
Cool.
What do I call it? Generic Heroes deck number 1.
This is not Generic Heroes. No hero deck runs Paradox Fusion anymore. Or ever, actually.
I don't care. It's Heroes, you run many hero decks. Generic Hero deck number 1.
I have about, I think, 12 different, or no, not even, more than 12 decks that involve heroes.
You know what? I'm just gonna start naming our YouTube videos. Whenever I face a hero deck, Generic Hero deck number 1. Generic Hero deck number 2. Generic Hero deck number 3.
And I would beat you up. Alright, so, the reasoning behind this deck was I was playing World Championship 2011, and I had just opened up one of the random packs in the game, and one of the cards in the pack was Justice Bringer. And I was like, Justice Bringer is cool, I like him, his effect is awesome. And at the time in the game, I was using a hero deck. So I decided, let me just throw in Justice Bringer, a couple of other support, and put it all in a hero deck, but just make it different from a traditional hero deck.
By adding Paradox Fusion.
That creation, and that led to this creation here. This deck's win ratio is actually fairly decent compared to some of the decks I have currently. Like, I made this deck a couple years ago, and compared to the decks
You said
I
you
have
played
now,
this when you played 2011. It's 2013 right now, the beginning of it. It
I
wasn't
remember
that long ago.
2011 came out in 2010.
Never. Okay, fine. Practically 2 years, 2.5 years
I got
ago.
it when it came out.
2.5.
I beat the game in like 2 hours. I beat the main story.
If you don't edit your deck, I guess you could go through it that quickly.
I actually edited my deck once, and that was because I just wanted to change it up completely from the starter deck they gave me. I used the starter deck at most of the game.
I did. I always use the starter decks in those kinds of games.
Unless I get enough cards at the beginning, I'll use the starter deck until I have enough cards to make a new deck. But yeah, we're going off topic. Alright, so I am bringing you the deck recipe for this deck.
In alphabetical order.
Yeah, because he just figured out he can do that. Alright, so the first 2 monsters are both vanilla monsters. So that right there just shows how unorthodox it can be.
Well, if you're running a Neos deck...
I started off with Elemental Hero Neos and Elemental Hero Sparkman. Neos is there because he's a 2 tribute monster, he's light, he's 2,500 points, and he's also one of the key monsters in one of the fusions that I have in the extra deck.
You could have just said that he's like the main hero card of GX. That would have explained the 2,500 part, the 2 tribute part.
Yeah, shut up. Sparkman is Sparkman. The alternate art is cool, and plus Sparkman is one of my favorite elemental heroes. Because I think he's used in the most number of fusions, not counting Omni heroes. I'll check that later. Alright, and now starting with effect monsters, I have 2 command knights in the deck because every other monster in the deck is warrior, so she gives them 400 points, and she gives herself 400 points. And also, if I control another monster, an opponent can't attack it. So, if I have something like, say, I don't know, let me get a random monster. If I have like Neos on the field, she's not going anywhere. Unless, of course, they have Dark Hole, but that's a different story. And also, she's fire, so she's good fodder for Nova Master.
Yeah, because the deck lacks a fire monster, otherwise.
I would have used heat, but heat only powers up himself. She powers up everyone.
He's selfish.
Yes, and she's sharing. Sharing is caring. I'm hoping it's a she because I've been calling her.
I'm
she
pretty
for,
sure it's a she. It looks like a she to me.
Yeah, I've been calling her a she for like 6 years or so. Up next is Elemental Hero Blade Edge. The only other two tribute monsters in this deck. I like him because he's golden and he pierces. Like, there's not that many good piercers out anymore.
No one uses piercers like him. Barely anyone uses piercers now.
Yeah, and Blade Edge is also one of those monsters that a lot of the hero beatdown decks revolve around because he is one of the strongest heroes. So I decided to just throw him in here because I like Blade Edge. He's a cool hero and all that. Up next is Elemental Hero Flash. When I edit this deck, I am taking Flash out, but the reason Flash was in the deck was like I would put a play with him in Parallel World Fusion. But at the time I made it, I wasn't thinking how extremely situational that was. But yeah, Flash's effect, when he's destroyed by battle and sent to the grave, I could banish him and 3 other hero monsters that have different names that are in my graveyard, and then I get to target a normal spell in my grave and add it to my hand. Just by reading that, you can see how situational that effect is. And the detriments of using his effect extremely outweigh the benefits of that. And yeah, he's probably going to be the first monster to go. Up next is Elemental Hero Ice Edge, who is one of the main water monsters that I use to get out at 0. And also, when he inflicts damage to the opponent's life points, he destroys the set card on the field, on the opponent's field. So that right there can just bait your opponent into using some of their cards, like Solemn Warning or Mirror Force or whatever they have. So that way they don't get it destroyed later on. So he's a good he's a good bait sniffer right there. Up next is Necroshade, which is the last of the tribute monsters in the deck, and his effect revolves around him being in the grave. Once and one time only, when he's in the grave, you can normal summon any level 5 or higher elemental hero without tributing. So this is one of Jaden's classic plays right there. And if any of you guys actually care about GX, that was one of his classic plays to summon Blade Edge or Neos out. And also he's a dark monster, so a Skyridow has you have a target for to make a Skyridow. Up next is 2 Elemental Hero Neos aliases. I just have them there because they're 1900 beaters, and that's pretty much the only reason. Then is 2 Elemental Hero Ocean, who is a pretty decent searcher if you can keep them out up until the next turn, because then from there you can just make a whole bunch of plays with it in Stratos or in other heroes that you just put a summon again. And then is 1 Prisma. I have him in there because I can actually use his effect decently, because a few of the fusions actually need specific fusion material monsters. That works out pretty well. 1 Stratos, staple in a hero deck. 1 Wild Heart, he's immune to traps. There's not much else to say about why else he's in here. And then the last hero monster is Elemental Hero Woodsman, who during the standby phase lets me add 1 polymerization from my deck of grave to my hand. I would like to pull off Woodsman's effect more often, but usually by the time I get Woodsman out, somebody already has something that can run over a 2000 defender.
Yeah, they just don't have the same power they used to, thanks to Xyz, Synchro, ability, special summon all your shit on the first turn.
I remember those days where you summon like giant Soldier of Stone and your opponent was just like, what am I supposed to do?
No, I remember the days of Luster Dragon. That was even better. Oh my god, a monster with 1900 attack points and it doesn't need a tribute? This is blasphemy.
And the last 2 monsters in the deck is Justice Bringer. This guy, his effect is actually pretty cool. Once per turn, when a special summon monster on your opponent's field activates its effect, you get to negate the activation of it.
Yeah, but
So
maybe
they,
if it destroyed the monster, it would be more
if you
useful.
destroy the monster, it'd be a lot more. It'd be a lot better, but it just negates the effect. So, say like they have Stardust and they activate Stardust effect, you could just negate it with Justice Bringer. So, and Stardust still has to tribute itself because it's part of the cost of the activation.
Okay, in those rare cases that can happen, like let's say you play Torrential Tribute, but I doubt they would tribute it then.
But yeah, it's situational. But Justice Bringer is still cool.
I mean, he needs that destruction, or if he changes ability a bit, when a monster is special summon, you can destroy it. That would be pretty neat. That would be pretty cheap.
Yeah, that would be pretty cheap, and he would hit the ban list faster than the emergency call. Or actually, no, faster than Stratos.
Faster than Stratos.
I don't even think Stratos was off the list. I think as soon as he came out, he hit the ban list.
Was he? I can't even remember the old days that much.
I don't remember, because like even in Tag Force 2 or whatnot, when you have Stratos, he's still on the list. I think he's still on the list. I can't use it on mine because mine has no ban list. None of my Tag Force teams have ban list. Which is why I can use 3 Dark Holes in a deck.
Just use Raigeki.
Hey, I use Dark Hole and Raigeki, so.
Oh god.
3 Dark Holes, 3 Raigekis, 3 Monogrees.
It was an amazing deck.
Alright, and Jack Alex is going to start off with the spell.
I am?
Dude, really?
Alright, fine.
Taking turns.
We didn't take turns on the last profile.
Well, we're starting to take turns now.
Alright, well the spell cards are pretty much obvious. I mean, if you see the numbers in the top left-hand corner, that means these are the ones on the ban list because they're staples, and you can basically add them into any deck, such as Book of Moon, which acts as both a defensive and an offensive card. Dark Hole, because how else are we going to get rid of all the monsters on the opponent's side of the field? We don't have Raigeki anymore. Emergency Call, because this is in every single hero deck imaginable, but now it's been semi-limited. I don't know why it wasn't semi-limited before, or even, limited, but they decided to do it now.
Well, they banned Future Fusion, so why not semi-limit the Emergency Call?
Maybe because people are now using masked heroes? I don't know.
I want Future Fusion unbanned.
You'll get Future Fusion unbanned, never. Heavy Storm, because we don't have Giant Trunade, so we're going to need to be able to set up our OTK some other way. He's going all out with the Miracle Fusion, people. 3 of them. He really wants to summon those attribute elemental heroes. Omni Heroes. Monster Reborn, because no deck can run without it. If you don't run Monster Reborn... Hello? This is where you come in.
Even Gravekeepers.
Even Gravekeepers.
Even Gravekeepers can run Monster Reborn.
Because you're not going to have that card out.
You may want to turn around from the game, or you could just be challenging yourself. If you're not using Monster Reborn because you're challenging yourself, props to you. Now go back and use Monster Reborn.
1 MST, which is odd, considering he also has only 1 heavy, but this is an old deck recipe, so...
Yeah, alright. I didn't know what to put in for it. And anyway, the CPUs are retarded, so I only needed 1 MSC anyway.
Oh, no wonder. A parallel world fusion, because he wanted to pair it up with Elemental Hero Flash. And it also kind of works with, Miracle Fusion.
Yeah.
A polymerization and another polymerization, each of alternate arts, because he wants to quote-unquote confuse his opponents.
Yeah, because it's fun. And anyway, I like the original one better, but it's just like, some people are partial to the newer ones, so I just put both of them in. Everybody wins. And I lost the next.
And the last spell card is Solidarity, because this entire deck, even the side deck, are warriors. So there's no way this card can go wrong.
Of course, they draw the MSC.
So, who's gonna cover traps?
I am. I got lost that game.
Okie
So,
dokes.
trap card wise, we're gonna start off extremely old school with 1 defense draw. That's how old this deck is. It has defense
Some Exotic decks, I think, still run it.
We're going to get a little more current with Dimensional Prison. Then we have a Hero Signal. In a deck like this, where not every monster is a hero deck, it's kind of iffy. So I only picked around one because of it. But I like using Hero Signal to bring out Stratos, use Stratos as the bag or whatnot. If I already have Ocean, I get to search with the Ocean, or I get to bring Stratos to hand and we do it again. Then one Mirror Force, because at the time I made this deck, Mirror Force was not at 2.
Which is odd.
Now,
I don't know why they semi-limited it now.
I don't know. I think it's because MSC's at 3, Heavy Storm, and all that hatred, and Starlight Road is running rampant in this format. So it's like, oh, it's okay for Mirror Force to be at 3.
Maybe I should start adding that.
And then one of the interesting cards in the deck, Paradox Fusion.
You do not want to meet this card in a dark alley.
It's kind of like, it's a Solemn Judgment as long as you have a fusion monster on the field. You get to negate the activation of the Spell Trap or special summon of a monster and destroy it. And to do that, you have to remove from play a fusion monster on your field. And then during your second end phase, you get to return that removed fusion monster back to the field and attack them. So this is actually good with Elements of Hero Absolute Zero, because you get to use its effect, nuke the field, and negate whatever card they did. And then in 2 turns, he comes back. Up next is one Scrap Iron Scarecrow, again showing how old this deck is, but nevertheless, it's still one of my favorite cards. You get to negate an attack, and then instead of Scrap Iron going to the grave, it just resets itself.
Yeah, but people didn't use it because that took up space.
Yeah, it takes up space, but it does get to negate an attack, and it does it once per turn unless it's destroyed. And the last 2 traps are Solemn Judgment and Solemn Warning. Everyone should know what those 2 cards do. They're like, well, Judgment to me is more of a staple than Warning, but still, they're what everybody uses nowadays. And in the side deck, there is only 1 card because I didn't know, I haven't made a side deck for it, and it's Super Polymerization. When I edit the deck, Super Polymerization will be in the main deck. I will most likely pick up Parallel Worlds Fusion for it.
Because this card is much better than that.
Yeah, I'd say Super Poly is better in this deck because this deck isn't focused on moving from play. I have a deck based around Parallel Worlds Fusion, and I'll show that someday. Alright, going into the extra deck now is one Element of Hero Absolute Zero.
We all know what he does.
Everybody in that mother should know what he does. That's how popular he is. Although, little known fact, a lot of people don't remember that he gains 500 points for every other water monster on the field.
That's because he's usually alone in that when he's summoned. I mean, you use a water monster, first of all, to summon him. So, the chances that there's another one on the field...
Unless you're fighting my fish deck.
That's
happened to me once. I've had 4 fish monsters on the field, the opponent summons at 0, and I'm just like, oh, shit.
Oh, shit, you're screwed, because he includes your opponent's field, too.
Yeah, exactly. But, all in all, everybody knows that 0 for his Raigeki like that. Just nuke your opponent's field. Just make him disappear. Poof, your opponent's field is gone, too. He's a magician. And he also has cool artwork. Next is one Dark Bright, which is personally my 3rd favorite Elemental Hero, behind Flame Wingman and Steam Healer. Dark Bright, he's a Piercer too, but also when he attacks, he switches to defense mode after he attacks, which is kind of weird because he's like weaker than Blade Edge. But it also just makes it so someone will want to attack him and then activate his other effect. If he's ever destroyed, I get to destroy a monster my opponent controls. So, kind of like any fusion with Necroshade has that destruction.
Can you pause for a sec? Accidentally timed out.
Okay. And the Element of Hero is Dark Bright. Yes, so sorry about the huge interruption.
Yeah, I have to keep clicking these cards so I don't time out due to stupid inactivity. You could just talk faster, you know. Or not go into such depth into each card, because some of these people know the cards that we're dealing with.
Yeah, shut up. Dark Bright. Piercer, after the attack, there's defense mode. my
Yeah, they know that already.
When he's destroyed, you get to destroy a monster on your opponent.
Yes, they know that. We went before that. Before we went to commercial break.
Shut up. Up next is Element of Hero Scarito, which I don't know if he's out yet, actually, in America. I know he's out in Europe.
And people care about Europe.
Pretty much.
No offense to Europeans out there.
He's the dark omni hero. He gains 100 for every hero in the grade, which kind of isn't that useful with Miracle Fusion running around, but hey, you can't count the chickens before they hatch, or whatever the saying is. Up next is Element of Hero Gaia.
Which everyone knows what that does, because people run Gaia.
He's a walking, whatever that, I forgot the name of that spell card. What is the name of it? It's like Ryan, whatever. Ryoku, there you go, Ryoku. He's a walking Ryoku. Up next is Great Tornado.
Which also people know it does.
Not many people summon him anymore, though. Like, wow, Great Tornado went down to 99 cents. Next Blade Shaman. Wild Heart and Necrocy. And when he's special summoned, you get to target a monster in your opponent's field, destroy it, and then bring back another monster from their grave. Now, I know you're saying, hey, that makes no sense. Well, in actuality, it can help. You can, say, destroy one of their more powerful monsters and bring back one of their weaker monsters. And you get to control the battle position that monster comes in. So you can destroy, say they have, like, Scrap Dragon or something, destroy it, bring back something different, bring back one of the things, bring back their tuner. Like,
I would have suggested BLS, because Scrap Dragon can bring shit back.
Okay. Yeah, BLS. Destroy BLS. Bring back Sangan or something. No, not Sangan, because they get a search on. Bring back Honest. Like, they bring back Honest to their field and attack mode and attacking. Like, there's some combos you do in that Great Shaman, and that's why he's also in my top 5 favorite heroes. Element of Hero Neo's Knight. Movie monster that Satan used. What he does, he's Neos plus any other warrior, and he gains attack points equal to half the other warrior monster that was used to summon him. That's not Neos. So if you make it with 2 Neoses, he gains no attack points. Also, what this guy can also do is he can attack twice during every battle phase, but when he attacks or is attacked, your opponent takes some battle damage. So it's kind of like a high risk, no reward type of thing. But you can get rid of monsters that would normally run over your other stuff.
Like BLS.
Yeah, you can get over BLS. Even if you use Avion as like the material, you can get over BLS. They'll just both die. Up next is the hero Nova Master.
People use him because
everyone
he's
knows
nice drop power.
Everyone knows what Nova Master does. Next is the hero Plasma Vice. He's a piercer too, which is actually which is cool because he inherits Blade as his ability. And also, if you discard a card from your hand, you get to destroy one attack position monster in your opponent's field. So that's interesting to have. Next is Element of Hero Terra Firma, the Ocean and Wisdom. And you can contribute a hero monster and he gains attack points equal to that monster's attack until the end of the turn. I mean, if the effect was like permanent, or at least until the opponent's end phase, then it would be a little bit better. And you might actually see a little more play for that. But if you use Terra Firma and add 0, you most likely will have a clear shot at their life points once they have that card. Up next is The Shining. Everybody should know what The Shining does. He's, I think, the most used on the hero. Next is Wild Edge, which is Wild Heart and Blade Edge, if you couldn't figure out the name and picture. You can attack every monster your opponent controls once, but you can only attack each monster once. So, like, if it can't be destroyed in battle, you can't just keep attacking it. And that wraps up the Elements of Hero Fusion. Now, the other 2 fusions is one Vision Hero Trinity, which is any 2 hero monsters, and its effect is you can target a face-up monster your opponent controls.
You mean Adoration?
Whatever. Adoration, I do that a lot. You control a monster, you target a monster on your opponent's field and one hero on your field, and that's not him, and the opponent's monster loses attack and defense equal to the attack of your monster. So that's good stuff. Again, that's weakened BLS. You have Stratos and Adoration on the field. If you use Stratos, you can have BLS. And your opponent responds on it. And up next is Trinity. Oh, this guy is like a walking OTK here. During the turn he fusion summons, his original attack is doubled. So, and he can also attack 3 times during each battle phase. The only drawback is he can't attack directly.
If he could attack directly, this would have been banned immediately.
Immediately. But he's still good for OTK, especially like if your opponent has an attack position Spirit Reaper and just made you discard a card or something. Attacking 3 times for 4,700 times 3. I'm not good with math, so I don't know what that is off the top of my head.
That's enough, more than enough. Just 2 attacks and they're dead.
Yeah, that's a lot. And the last card in that extra deck is number 39, Utopia. I randomly just threw that in the deck right before I started dueling with it again. So in a way I did kind of edit the deck, but I just randomly threw in Utopia. And Utopia works in here. Almost every monster in the deck is level 4. So it's pretty easy enough to get him off. It's just whether or not if I want to get him off. And this right here wraps up the deck profile of my Justice Heroes, or Heroes of Justice, whatever you want to call them, as long as you have the word Justice in it. And this has been T Fury and Drexelix, and we are out.